Oh, we're live. And where did I put my tea? There it is. All right, guys, if you're out there, join in, and we can talk a little bit about the weather. We have an Arctic air invasion right now. We have the Arctic blaster, Alaska blaster hanging right over us right now over the Gulf Islands. So it's a cool one out there, and it's about minus. I think it's currently minus 3.1. But we did get down to minus 4.9, the lowest temperatures. So definitely a cold morning. Thank God we don't have any wind. Greetings from Boise. Hit 7 this morning, 7 degrees. Okay, cool. Not too bad. You know what? You always got to think, Stephen, it could always be worse. So we hit minus 4.9 degrees Celsius. I think that's around 23. Let me go to my online conversion. Minus online conversion. Minus 4.9 C in F. 23.1. Okay, I think it's 23.1, something like that. So 23, we'll just say 23 degrees we got down to this morning, and right now it's just around minus 3 degrees Celsius. So not too bad. There is zero wind here. There are a few little flakes falling. I mean, there's so few flakes falling, you could probably count them. I see just the odd little flake falling, and we do have a dusting of snow on the ground. We picked up a total of a 1/4 inch yesterday. Man, did it come in fast. That freeze came fast. I was out in the garden videotaping. Says, weathermen can never get things right. They said it was going to be in here by this time, and it came in a little bit later, but it came in fast. And that's what happens when Alaska, to the north of us, opens her doors up and lets that cold air out. Well, guess what? That cold air slides right down the coast, and it hangs over top of us for a few days. The next couple of days are going to be probably even colder. At the end of the break, headed back to work. Thanks for joining in, man. I've been doing a lot of streams on Jungle Joe C video gates on the radio. I got the radio going right now. I was just talking to Alabama on there. Yesterday, I did some good South Pacific contacts, Australia. Somewhere I'd like to be right now where it's nice and warm. Australia, but I've actually been working a lot of Alaska stations too. And they can keep that cold air up in Alaska. So, but anyway, you know what? Now we're counting down till spring, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm already looking forward to spring, even though it's not technically winter yet. But I think the first day, when is the first day of winter? Is that coming up? First day of winter 2022. Let's look that up. First day of winter 2022 is Wednesday, December 21st. Okay. Wednesday, December 21st is the first day of winter, and I will be working that day. That's okay. Winter goes fast, and you know what I mean? These cold snaps are usually pretty short-lived here. So I see by the end of the week, it's going to start to warm up a little bit, but it's still not going to be back to normal. It's still going to be below, let's just see, below normal. I'm looking at it right now. Snowfall warning in effect. Yeah, no, it'll be below normal. It doesn't look till Friday. It's looking like highs of 0, lows of 1. Saturday, rain 5 and 3. Sunday, 7. So it doesn't look like it's going to get more near to normal till next Saturday. So we got some cold weather hanging around for this week. And people are always asking, well, how are the palm trees going to do? You know what? The palm trees have been through it all before. The Trachycarpus palms, temperatures in the 20s, it's a cakewalk for them. Once you get down below, 10 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Fahrenheit lower, then it's more of a challenge for them in a wetter climate. If you're in a drier climate, well, they could probably even handle it better. But, believe it or not, Trachycarpus fortunei palms, usually when you buy them at the nursery, if they have a tag on, it says hardy down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 12. Well, they do that probably to cover their rear ends, just in case you get a bad freeze and those palms you bought from them all die. So they usually do that to probably cover their rear ends. But we know for a fact that well-established and especially locally grown Trachycarpus palms can handle colder temperatures. The coldest temperature I have ever heard of a Trachycarpus fortunei palm surviving was minus 23 degrees Celsius. And that's with the foliation and coming back. In late December 1968, so December 28th, 1968, there was record-breaking temperatures along our coast in BC. Vancouver Airport recorded minus 17.8 degrees Celsius. Cole Harbour and Vancouver Harbour were minus 15 degrees Celsius. So YVR, Vancouver International Airport, I'm going to give you some information, is actually not in Vancouver. It's actually in a cold spot on Sea Island, southwest of Vancouver. It's a low spot and it's a cold spot. So it's right beside Lulu Island. So it's not even in Vancouver. You got to take a bridge to get to the airport. And they had minus 17.8. And a lot of places in Vancouver had minus 15, something like that. Here on Salt Spring, the record cold was minus 15, but not all over. Give or take, depending on location. There are some places here that probably not get colder than minus 12 or minus 11, right? And I know this area up on the north end here, coldest I see was minus 11 degrees Celsius was record cold, right? But anyway, you just never know what old man winter has in store for us, right? So if it gets really cold, it just weeds out the wimpy plants. We had a similar freeze here in southwestern Germany. Got all my Phoenix here. Oh, cool. Minus 8.5. Yeah, I know you guys had some cold out there, Maxie, Plank, and even in the UK too, Wales, Scotland, Ireland. I have 2 Phoenix palms in the ground. We have many Phoenix canariensis palms that I've grown from seed. The other ones I had to move in. And the 2 that I have in the ground, one survived last December freeze with a nursery bucket over top of it, which was hard to believe. So I did plant another one in the ground about a month ago or so, and I did put a cover on it, right? Privilege is in there from, I'm not sure where Privilege lives. I think somewhere in Europe or something like that. But anyway, yeah, so I do actually have 2 Phoenix canariensis palms in the ground, and we'll see if the other one actually makes it. And the one made it last year with the nursery bucket over top, which actually blew me away. So I said, what the heck? I'll plant another one. And we have 1, 2, 3. We have 4 or 5 in pots. Pretty good size when they're in 15-gallon planter pots, and they are thriving. So, but I did boot those into the basement during this cold snap, and then I will bring them out. No sense in losing them. Northwest Germany, we got down to minus 12.3. Minus 12.3. So that's just below 10 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. I wrap my oleander plants and they're doing fine. We have the same conditions as Belgium here. Minus 5. Minus 5 in Belgium. Yeah, there's a guy in town that grows a lot of oleander plants, and he just throws a blanket over them in this cold weather. And they've been there a long time. And we have some oleanders in the ground too. Seems like the hardy reds seem to make it through everything here. Pinks and the whites, they seem to get weeded out when it gets cold. But it's not that bad here right now. I think the 2 coldest nights are going to be Tuesday and Wednesday. I see temperatures down to minus 9 degrees Celsius in some areas, give or take, depending on location here on Salt Spring Island. You have to remember our island consists of mountains and hills and valleys from one end to the other, right? It's just about 17 miles in length, and it's very mountainous. So once you get into those valleys or you get up on tops of the mountains, it's a lot colder up there, right? And where we are, like I say, we're on the very north end of the island. It's like this, and we're right beside the ocean. So we don't get the extremes here. And that's why I actually picked this spot to live. I've been growing palm trees on Salt Springs since the 1980s. At my mom and dad's place, they bought here in 1978, but I started planting them in 89 at their place near Ganges. And they did okay there. And that was actually kind of a cooler spot. It was up high, higher elevation. That is, you have 400 meter Belgium. 12 minus 12. Yeah, that's 10 degrees Fahrenheit. That's getting down there. I'm going to have some of these peanuts here. Anyway, guys, it is a cold day in paradise. And my thumbnail I used for this one, I shot a picture out the man cave window and took a picture of the Salt Spring flag. 11 degrees Celsius. Nice. That's balmy. You're walking around with shorts and a t-shirt on, man. That's awesome. Right on. I'll take 11. I think our normals for this time of the year are probably about, I'll tell you what they are. I'll tell you what our normals are. 6 and 1. Our normals for this time of the year are 6 and 1. Bring out the pina colada. Bring out your flip-flops, shorts, lay, your Hawaiian lay, kick back. I would be 11 degrees Celsius. I wear a t-shirt and shorts out there, man. But anyway, somebody was asking me about the tree fern too, because I do have a Facebook group called People Who Love Palm Trees and Exotic Plants. I have a lot of Facebook groups on exotic gardening. The main one is people who love palm trees and exotic plants. And there was a comment, I think it was in that group, and they asked, how's that tree fern going to make out? Well, I'm going to give you a little information about the tree fern we have. We have 4 tree ferns. We have 2 Dicksonia in the ground. We have 2 Cyathea cooperi, which I did have to bring in because they were in pots. Those are Australian ones. But the big Dicksonia Antarctica we have, I planted in April 1994. It has about 6 feet of trunk on it now. And it's been through cold weather before. It's been through lots of cold weather before. So at temperatures of about minus 6.5 or minus 6.6 degrees Celsius, you can count on the fronds starting to go brown on it, and anything below that, it's going to kill the fronds on it, right? But what I do, I always protect the inner crown. So here's your trunk. The inner crown, where the croziers, the fiddleheads come out, that is the most tender part of a tree fern. And what I do with that, I've got some cocoa fiber in there. I think I might have put some burlap in there. I got some bubble wrap, and then I got some kind of like styrofoam sitting on top with a nursery pot, upside down, a little clay pot. And that's the main thing to protect on a tree fern if you're in our growing zone. If you're in a colder growing zone, you got to probably wrap it up more. So if the fronds die off in a cold blast, spring new ones will always emerge. You're always going to get new fronds come out. And, every year you can count on at least probably 20 fronds coming out of that thing. This year it pumped out a bunch in the spring, and it also pumped out a bunch in the in the fall. I think it was in the fall, late summer. I shot videos of it. Have you observed the self-seeding tree ferns? No, never. I've never, ever seen self-sporing tree ferns here. We have tons of ferns all over our property, evergreen ones. Those spore like weeds. I've never seen them self-spore, but I believe Gerard did in Vancouver. He had some huge tree ferns in his garden, 10 feet of trunk, and I believe he did get some babies off of them. Oh, nice. I was in Korea a few years ago, and I was wondering why their tree trunks were wrapped. Yeah, so, in Korea, if you go to South Korea, Jeju Island, the island of Jeju, I think it's called Jeju Island, off of South Korea. It's full of palm trees, that island. Did you know that? It's almost kind of subtropical. It's amazing, but it can get cold there at times. But, I wish the tree ferns would self-spore here. That would be totally awesome. But no self-sporing tree ferns here. Trachycarpus palms self-seed like weeds, but tree ferns produce spores, and lots of spores come off of it. I should actually probably look underneath the tree fern because there's a lot of tree fern debris and leaves and stuff. Maybe there's some babies that have started in there. I don't know. I'll have to look closely in the spring. I said to Wendy, if we ever sell this place, and I'll take the tree fern with me. That's one thing that is coming with me. I'm going to dig it out, and I will take it with me. Everything else stays in the ground, and I'll take all the potted palms too. But thinking about it, we keep thinking about moving. We were going to do the Costa Rica thing, but that fell through because of the mandates, and they lost a very vital piece of paperwork that we needed. Unfortunately, the Costa Rican consulate screwed up, and our 6-month window ran out. So that was foiled for us. So Wendy's constantly looking at real estate over on Vancouver Island, on the Big Island. So I said, we could downsize, buy something smaller with low maintenance, and then you could go just traveling in the winter. You have $1 million of investment going probably. Yeah, I got a lot of palms, not $1 million worth. I wish I did, but I mean, there's thousands of them out there. So there's a good investment of palm trees. And you know what? If I ever want to sell them all, I have a buyer for everything. There's a guy on Vancouver Island that has a palm nursery, and he says, Joe, if you ever want to get rid of them all and you want to move, call him up. And I would sell them to him wholesale for sure, but he would buy them all. And he's a good guy. I've met him before, and he's in my palm group. So, and he doesn't live very far from us on Vancouver Island. But you know what? If we ended up selling, in a year or two or whatever, and moved to Vancouver Island and downsize, I would take a lot of palms with me. I would probably sell him half of them, and I'd probably take the other half with us and just plant them in the garden. That's what I do. I'd have a freaking jungle of palm trees, because where we move, if we decided to move, it would have to be southern Vancouver Island, closer to the ocean, right? Something like that. And I'd bring some sable miners with me. Tree ferns, the only thing I'd dig out of the garden would probably be tree fern, and I think the needle palms. I think I'd take those too, because they're hard to get up here. So I think I'd probably take the needle palms. I think the sable river or cassierum, I don't know. If I could dig that out, it might end up killing it. I just did a video of the sable cossier, so we'll upload that hopefully tomorrow. I wish I had $1 million worth of palms. I don't know how many dollars worth of palms we have here. We have thousands of palm trees on our property. I mean, if I started selling them individually, yeah, it would add up. Can't move to Hawaii. We go to Hawaii a lot. I've been there 26 times. I was married there twice. It's not easy to move to Hawaii if you're not American. I'm not American, and I don't have dual citizenship. There's a Hawaiian flag right behind me. There's a Hawaiian clock above it. Got Hawaiian stuff all over the room here. But you know what? It's not easy to move to Hawaii. If I was a multimillionaire, I could move to Hawaii, but I'm not a multimillionaire. If I was married to an American, I could move to Hawaii if my wife had dual citizenship. But 20 meters from the border, geez. 20 miles from the border? I wish I could move to Hawaii, but no. But the only thing I can do to Hawaii is visit Hawaii. Unless I was a doctor or something and I was hired over there to work, then it'd be easier. Are there any evergreens other than conifers in wild breed on your island? Yes. There are Oregon box. There is Mahonia. There is Kinnikinick, Arctostaphylos uvarisci. There's twin flower. There is Pacific Madrona, Arbutus mintzazii. Arctostaphylos columbiniana, which is the manzanita trees. Pacific wax myrtle we have in our garden, but they're actually native to the west coast of the Big Island. Salal, what else? The ferns, we have evergreen ferns here. So there's lots of evergreen stuff on Salt Spring Island. Yeah, so we have a lot of broadleaf evergreens here too. Oregon box is really nice. There's bushes of it that grow all over the place. And like I said, we have the tall Mahonia. We have short Mahonia. We have lots of Salal. Salal is everywhere. And Kinnikinick. Kinnikinick's more of a ground cover, but it's evergreen. And same with twin flower. That is a ground cover. And of course, they have the evergreen succulents, the Sedum spathifolium. So yeah, there are lots of broadleaf evergreen plants that grow in the wild on our island. It is green here year round. Even when I'm looking out there right now, there's snowflakes falling, but the foliage is green everywhere. Yeah. It's nice to look out at green. It always looks just a little bit warmer on those cold winter days. I think Hawaii's coming right now on my radio. I got the radio going right now. Right. So after this live stream, I'm going to do a live stream on Jungle Josie Video Gates. And then I got to work tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So it's going to be yucky working out there. Yeah. Broadleaf evergreens are the way to go. So I did transplant a few small arbutus trees. I dug one out here and I dug a few other ones out here and there. And I'm going to have some in pots because if we ever do move, I want to bring some with me and plant them in our new garden. So I think it's good to be proactive, right? And just have those things on hand. I'm going to go see what the temperatures are like right now. Minus 3.1. It's minus 3.1 degrees Celsius out there. So it's cold and there are snowflakes falling. Like I say, tiny snowflakes. Anyway, anybody else out there want to pop in this live stream? Pop in. I'm probably not going to go too long on this live stream because I want to hop on the radio and make some DX contacts. I want to run the live stream on Jungle Josie. Wendy wants to go for a walk. What's your view on olive trees? There's an olive farm here, man. We grow them commercially here. We have an olive farm on the South End of our island. There's over 3,000 olive trees. You can actually see their Instagram page. They have an Instagram page called the Olive Farm Salt Spring Island. And they actually have just a page on, I think they might have a Facebook page too, but Olive Farm on Salt Spring Island. And they have about 8 different types of olive trees there. They have an olive oil processing plant. And you should see the slopes going into the south end of Salt Spring. It's thousands of olive trees. So they do really well here. And we have olive trees in our garden as well. Manzanita is a very interesting plant. Great, everything went. Yeah, so very tricky to grow. Manzanita, they absolutely hate root disturbance like Pacific Madrona. There's some really nice ones on the tops of our mountains. So you'll find you'll find Manzanita trees growing at higher elevations on Salt Spring Island, right? And if you go to the top of the mountains here, that's where you're going to start to see the Manzanita. And I did harvest a bunch of seed. And apparently to grow that seed, I tried, you have to burn. They need heat. They need fire. So I tried some, and I had one come up. And you know what? A slug ate it. I was so happy with this one Manzanita seedling, and I think it was a slug or maybe a mouse ate that little seedling. So I don't have any now. And they're a tricky tree to even buy in the nursery. You're not going to really see them much. But there is a skill to growing them from seed. Google it. Google Manzanita propagation. That's what you got to do. Arbutus are pretty easy to grow from seed. I think easier than Manzanita. I propagate them from seed. Just throw the berries on the ground and they will grow, but they need fast draining soil. So there you go. All right. All right, guys. I think I'm going to roll now. I'm going to go to my other YouTube channel, Jungle Joe C Video Gates, and I'm going to go shoot some skin. Thanks for joining in the live stream, and I'll try to do another live stream maybe at the end of the week or something like that. I'll keep you updated. We'll let you know how low the temperature goes out here on the Gulf Islands. Take care. Have a good day, and have a Merry Christmas. Because you know what? It's only about 6 days till Christmas. That's crazy. 6 days till Christmas. Cheers to you, man.